think that we might need to stop shooting film, at least for a little bit. I purchased 5 of these Portra 800 35 millimeter rolls from Brooklyn Film Camera. They cost me $16.99 each. With tax, it was roughly around like $90-ish. You get about 36 exposures with these rolls. So if we do some quick math, this equals about $2.50 a photo. And it got me thinking, can I substitute this with something like my X100V? Now I know I've talked about film simulations in the past, but if I really wanted to get the film look, could I? Well, I was in St. Louis this past weekend and I decided to try out a film simulation that's supposed to look just like Portra 400. I don't know if you should stop shooting film or not, but if there are alternatives out there, I think we should start to explore them. So here's the breakdown of the Portra 400 recipe for Fuji. They are currently doing construction behind me here. They are building a brand new building. We're gonna lose our windows, but luckily they're gonna put windows back behind us, like where the desks are. So at least we won't lose all of our natural light. Looking at the X100V, I know I've talked about it before, so I'm not gonna go and belabor it. It also seems like Fuji's just having a moment right now where like literally all of YouTube loves them, and like now everyone's like, get the X100V.
Who is it that breaks your fall, puts out the flames, and saves your children?
Fuji Film.
They love me.
I'm really excited to see Fuji on the come up because they really do make phenomenal cameras. I got my recipe from FujiXweekly.com. You guys know I already used him a lot. And this is the Portra 400 V2 film simulation, emulation recipe. I'm quickly gonna run down just the settings, and I don't have them memorized off the top of my head, so we're gonna look at the phone here. So you're gonna set your camera to the classic Chrome emulation. You're gonna put your dynamic range to 400. You're gonna keep your highlights at 0, your shadows at -2, and your color at +2. You're gonna use your noise reduction and move it down to -4. You're gonna put your sharpening at -2 and your clarity at -2 as well. For grain effect, strong, small. For color chrome effect, strong. For color chrome effect, blue, weak. Here's something interesting about this recipe is that they actually want you to preset the white balance to 5200, and they want you to do +1 red and -6 blue. Seems pretty straightforward. I know that this camera has really just been nothing but a joy to use for me, but when I was first looking through this camera, I did think that everything was a little green. That's the settings. Here are the photos. So there you have it. That is the Kodak Portra 400 V2 recipe on my Fuji X100V. I think that you can use this recipe with any of the newer sensor Fuji, so just keep that in mind when you're putting this recipe together. I know he has older recipes on his website as well, so go check those out if you want to try this out. I think you'll have a lot of fun shooting with this recipe. Now, here's the tension, right? I really like how those photos look. So I think that they look completely like Portra 400 sometimes. So then this does really pose the question of like, is shooting film worth it? Because like, look, don't get me wrong, the tactile feel of a film camera, pulling that film forward, taking that picture, it feels like craft oriented or ritualistic. It just feels really good to do it in the hand. And in the process of sending something out or developing it in-house, you know, there is totally a ritual behind it. It seemingly makes your photography so much more personal. But with film prices going up, it's really hard to say whether or not you can't just continue to dial in a recipe on a Fuji camera or something similar and say, yeah, these look good enough for me. I bought 5 rolls for 90 bucks at $16.99 a roll. Now, I understand that digital cameras are expensive. Like the Fuji X100V new or used, I think is around like $1,200 to $1,500, depending on where you're looking. So obviously that's not cheap by any means. All I need to do is buy 5 rolls of film and get them developed about 5 times in order to meet that price point. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I mean, you can kind of see how that breaks down. Either way, I think the answer to figuring out whether or not shooting film is worth it is simply dependent on you. Like, you can't listen to the exterior factors. You can't listen to whether or not film is cool or whether it's not cool. You can't listen to whether or not a certain camera brand is hyped or whether it isn't hyped. You see what I'm saying? It all boils down to you. What are you trying to achieve with your art and your photography? If it means shooting film, do it. Just know that it may cost you a little bit more in the long run. I mean, we didn't even talk about buying a camera body, but that's whatever, that's not important. But at the end of the day, let me know what y'all think. If you think shooting film is worth it, tell me why down below. If you think it's not worth it, I want to hear as well. And if you're new here, my name is Andrew, you can call me Pooch, and I'd like to welcome you to the Lesson Link channel. I am really glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for helping me solve this problem. Because I'm over here trying to figure out whether or not I want to keep shooting film or not. I mean, I probably will. It is really fun. And I like the process. I like the craftiness. I mean, you know, there's just something to it. Either way, I'll see you in the next one. Peace!